All right, y'all know what time it is. Time for that good old vintage left side of the brain. It's time to take y'all back, red light edition style. You know, it's like this, man. Our experience in life, you see, it's an emotional experience. And what I mean is, you live inside of your emotions. You don't live in what you see. You see, everything that you look at, it sparks an emotion inside of you. This is further proof that everything is taking place inside of your brain. Because everything you see, everything you hear, it sparks some type of emotion inside of you. So, life is based upon whatever chemical your brain releases that induces the emotional feeling that you have. That's what life is. You live inside your brain. And your world is dictated by however you feel. However you feel at the moment, it dictates what your world is. Everybody else can be having fun, look like they having fun. You can be hearing carnival music, the sun could be shining. But if your emotions don't measure up to the scenery, it doesn't matter what the scenery looks like. If you don't feel good, then how the world looks around you, that doesn't matter. It can be sunny, perfect weather, but if you don't feel good inside, none of that matters. Because you live inside of your emotions. It's just a little drop before we get into the main subject matter. So that's why you have to learn how to take control of your inner being, meaning you can't let the world dictate your emotions. Because if you live inside of your emotions, that means you have to come to an agreement within yourself that you don't need any outward stimuli to give you the emotional satisfaction that the outer stimuli gives you. You got to have that inner emotional stimulation. Whether that's by closing your eyes and just cease thinking about anything, because the outward world, that which you are looking at, the illusion, will have you spinning in circles. It's not designed to keep you satisfied. that goes against what this world is about. It's about ups and downs. It's about keeping you chasing validation in the eyes of someone else. So you have to learn how to get that emotional validation inside of yourself. Because this world will just swing you back and forth like a tennis ball. Back and forth, bouncing, 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 back and forth, bouncing, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Have you noticed that? That comes from not knowing who you are, not knowing the truth about yourself. That's what it comes from. That's where depression comes from. That's where bipolar comes from. It comes from the separation of your self-validation. When you become separated from your true self, then you are no longer in control of your mind, body, and soul. You understand? Once you give them the power over you, that means they have your emotions in their hands. That's what you can't do. You can't give them the power. You have to take control of your emotions. However you got to do it. You know what you got to do. I suggest you get in a still place. You live inside of your mind. And you find a quiet place inside of yourself. You got to find a goal within yourself. My goal is to find self-validation, self-peace, which can only come by way of accepting the truth. You see, the more I break down the way this world operates, it leaves nothing to chase. Once you break down the 6 laws that governs the HPB system, once you break down the differences between the HPB females, the HPB males, once you understand how they move, how they operate, you're not left with anything that can give you a disappointment. You get what I'm saying? You will graduate to the state where you run out of things that you can chase in this world. Once you understand it, once you break it down, that's why I do these videos. Once you break this stuff down, once you understand how it operates, you're left with nothing but yourself. And that will bring you peace of mind. Do y'all get what I'm saying? That's why I do these videos. Once you break down how it operates, then they are not left with any tricks that can keep you chasing after something. Because once you realize that it's all a trick, once you realize that it's all a game, once you realize that it's just something designed to take your soul away from you, once you realize that, they're left with nothing. Once you realize that everybody that's not in this type of thinking, that they are out to have you running in circles, they're going to be there one day, then they're going to leave the next. That's what they designed to do. You thinking, oh, I found the perfect situation, the perfect person, the perfect relationship. How can you be in a perfect situation and a perfect relationship with a person that doesn't think on this level? You setting yourself up for a downfall, which is a heartache, an emotional shattering, which is going to leave you heartbroken. And that's why I say, once you figure out these people, once you figure out how this thing is designed, they have no room left to trick you into believing that they can give you some kind of satisfaction. There is no satisfaction in this world. It's like at the end of every hallway in this HPB maze, disappointment is at the end of every hallway in this HPB system. Have you noticed that by now in your life? It's always disappointment at the end of every tunnel. Except, now, think about it this way. When you listen to a Left Side of the Brain video, it's not disappointment at the end of the video. It's refreshing, right? But when you deal with a person, it's disappointment at the end of it. It's always worry. Have you noticed that? But when you deal with the truth, you're not worrying about what you are listening to. You're not worrying whether or not this is deceiving you. And then later on, you're going to find out and then you're going to be disappointed. It's not like that. But when you're dealing with people that's not on this level, you always have your guards up. You always worried. You always thinking, oh, is this person cheating on me? Or is this person doing this? Or how long am I going to be on this job? Is my work performance where it should be? That's because you really know inside of yourself that you are in a situation that's designed to fail you. You don't want to admit it, but you realize that it's just a matter of time until it all falls apart. That's the nature of this world that we live in. It's just a matter of time till it falls apart. And I can use the law of exceedings to back that up. Like, look into nature and you'll see everything in nature and how it operates. And you will see how it can validate the things that I'm saying. That's the law of exceedings. You'll see a parable in nature that can validate or quantify the truth. And the nature of things is to fall apart. Look out into nature. Everything eventually, it falls apart and then it starts over again. That's the HPB system. So that's why when you be dealing with these people, you know inside of yourself, you have to deceive yourself. You have to lie to yourself. You have to come up with all type of mind games to try and deceive yourself. But deep down, you know that it's just a matter of time until this thing just falls apart. But guess what? You can't say that about the truth. Like a video, like this video right now that you're listening to, it's not a matter of, you're not worried about, is it a matter of time until this fall apart? You're not asking yourself that question. While you're listening to this, since it's the truth, it can only get better and better each second as you listen to it. You're not worrying about whether it's going to fall apart. Now, let's just say you just met somebody the other day, or you got a new job or something. The whole while, you're not looking for it to get better. You're thinking what I got to do to keep this up, what I got to do, what I got to say now, what I got to text her now to make her like me, what I got to do now. That's what your train of thinking will be the entire while. I've noticed that when you out in this world, you constantly looking behind your back. You walking down the alley by yourself. Is somebody behind that tree ready to jump out and get me? You get what I'm saying? It's always a moment of expecting something bad to happen. Fear-based, a fear-based lifestyle. Ignorance in this world that we live in is based in fear, because the fear comes from that internal knowing that something isn't right about this world. So you fear what you know is inevitable. You know it's going to take place, but you got to lie to yourself that it's not what left side is saying it is. You have to make up these lies. You have to deceive yourself. You have to come up with all type of mind games to try and avoid reality. When you came to the left side of the brain channel, the buck stops here. This is where it's at. And I'm not bragging on myself, but I'm saying the information that I dispense in these videos, this is where it's at. So what I'm saying is you got to get to that point where you can get that self-validation. And the only way of doing that is by accepting the truth that this world is a human prison bar system. That's what it is. Like, when I wake up and I step out of my front door, when I go about my day-to-day business, I already know what I'm walking out into. I'm walking out into a situation that revolves around ego, money, and sex. Also, violence and manipulation. Those 5 things is what this entire world is about. Ego, money, sex, violence, and manipulation. That's what it's about. Those 5 things. And you're going to see that. They can't operate outside of what I just said. Having a job is about money. Ego is what you need to compete in this world. Your ego is the driving force behind competition. So that's ego. The job is money. The sex is what the ego and the money revolves around. Sex, the sex industry is the most lucrative industry in the world. It'll never go bankrupt. The porn industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So it's ego, money, and sex. Competition of the sexes. You got to outdo this man to get that woman. You see? And then the violence and the manipulation. They can't control without implementing violence. They can't get you to believe them without manipulating you. So that's the violence and the manipulation part. So that's what plays out before us every morning. Ego, sex, money, violence, and manipulation. That's it. Now, what the United Souls thing comes into play, where that comes into play is in the deciding of what you're going to do. Now that you got this, what you're going to do with it. That's what the United Souls thing is about. Now that you have this information, what do you do with it? Do you continue to play the game? Or do you simply exit the game or bow out? And it's only two decisions you can make in life. Will I continue to play the game, or will I just leave the game? That's it. And I see people, when I walk out of my door, I see people like animals. Let me explain to you. You know how they say like chimpanzees and orangutans, they resemble people. They look close like to human beings, the way they faces and the way they stand up on two legs and everything. And they say that the chimpanzee is only 1% of DNA that separates humans from chimpanzees. There's only a 1% difference in DNA. Something like 1%. So I thought about it. If it's only 1% percentage that separates a human from a chimp, then intelligence separates us from them. So these people that we are calling humans, they are really apes when they don't have intelligence. I honestly truly believe that people like myself, if 1% of DNA separates a human from a chimpanzee, then when it comes to us versus them, it's like, it may be like a 0.000 point separates us from them. And that small percentage is enough to put us in a different category than them. Just because we look like them, that don't mean we have the same brain functioning as them. Just like the apes are only separated 1% from humans. So what I'm saying is, humans are apes. There is a ape class of animal humans who look like us. Remember, chimps look like humans in many aspects. Amongst the humans, there is a ape that looks even closer in resemblance to the real humans, the us. But we taking them for real humans when they are not. They just closely resemble us, but we are separated from them by a small fraction of DNA. And that's all that it takes. That little small fraction of a DNA contains a whole lot, even though it's just a small fraction. Just like it's only 1% DNA difference between a chimp and a human, but it makes a world of a difference when it comes to intelligence. So I'm saying the same thing about the human, the so-called human family. Amongst us, there are humans, so-called, who look like the real humans, but they are really apes. Just a higher, I guess, elevated form of apes. Now, I'm not saying evolution. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying creation. They are created like that. They look close to us. They act like us. They walk like us. They even make the vocalizations like us, but they are not us. You see what I'm saying? They close enough to have children with us. That's how close they are, but they still are not us. It's a hairline difference, but that hairline difference, it makes a world of a difference. That's what I'm saying. So that's the new thing that I'm teaching on this channel, that there are human prison bars, but not only that, these human prison bars are apes that resemble humans, but they are apes. They are animals. They are beasts of the field. That's what these people are. That's why they act and behave the way they do. They beast. They animals. And that's why I don't get excited about when I hear news stories about all of the crazy stuff that be happening in the world. Somebody drive a car through the front entrance of a business and run over 20 people and all that. That's what animals do. It don't surprise me. I'm not shocked about anything because I understand that these people are apes, a higher elevated ape. So I don't look at them for my morality. I don't look at them to be moral. How can I expect an ape to be moral? I don't look at them for morality value. I don't do that. That's done. Hashtag I'm done. I'm over that. I don't care about people, man. Like, if you're not on this intelligence, like the things we express on this channel, you are a animal to me. You are a ape to me. That's what I'm saying from here on out. Everybody out here is not the same. And I call the world leaders, the HPB world leaders, you know what I call them? I call them the zookeepers. They got to figure out what we're going to do with these animals in the zoo. You know, the so-called Illuminati. I believe in the existence of a secret order, but I call them the zookeepers. They got to figure out what we're going to do with all these animals, all of these animals on the earth. What are we going to do with them? They understand. They say the leaders of the world are a negative old blood type, which means they don't have the rhesus monkey blood in them. Some people have these Rh positive blood types. Rh means the rhesus monkey factor inside of their blood. But they say the world leaders are negative O blood types. I'm a negative O blood type. I'm a negative O. I don't have the Rh factor in my blood. So the zookeepers of this world, they say what we got to do to keep these animals in check. That's why they treat people like they do. They don't care about wars and killing people because they look at everybody like ignorant animals. You see, some people come from a different essence and different origins of the universe. Some people were created down here on this earth. I'm not going to go into that. That's for another time. But the point is, most people are just Rh blood type animals. The government, they plan things 50 years in advance. They look at the trajectory of what the world will be in 50 years and they plan accordingly. They got computer programs where they put in algorithms to determine what the world will look like population wise and everything else 50 years down the line, and they plan accordingly. That's what they do. So at this point in time, it's not about saving nobody and all of that. I've been past that. That's over with. These videos that I upload on this channel is to edify those who already understand what time it is. The fact that you even come to these videos and you are one of the minority of the people, that in itself says a lot about you. That says a lot about you. You wouldn't be interested in something that's not inside of you. You got an interest for this for a reason. You think everybody, you take it for granted that any and everybody would be interested in these videos, and that's not the case. You will be surprised. Go look at other videos on YouTube, like so many videos where people just watching American Idol and all of that. You'll see it's in the millions. They got videos that go viral overnight. They be in the millions. And then you got like a Left Side of the Brain channel video where you might get like 6,000 views, 2,600 views, because the minority is the us crowd. You see? So don't take your watching these videos for granted. That says a lot in itself. This Left Side of the Brain channel, this is the underground network. This is a underground information channel. You only gonna find it on this underground little station right here, the Left Side of the Brain channel. This is a underground format. This the underground, where we meet up and get this real life information. Like the things I'm saying tonight, it's a new thing that we pushing now, that these people are animals who look like the real humans, but they not the real humans. They are animals. They don't think on a higher plane. They are incapable of thinking on a higher plane. I want to leave y'all with that, and you think about that. And you know, I think that's all I want to say tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit the likes button, hit that reality button, the subscribe button. Tell me what you think in the comment section. And this is Left Side of the Brain. I don't care about you, then don't care about me. It's all about the information. That's the only thing I care about. I don't see you as skin and flesh and bones. Like when you cut a person open, if you lay the guts of a human right next to the guts of a pig, and if you took somebody's brains out of their head and laid it on the table right next to the guts, right next to the brains of a pig, you couldn't even tell the difference. I swatted a mosquito the other day, and it had red blood in it. And you know what I said? I said, all blood is red. When you cut a human up, they look no different than meat in a butcher shop. In a meat butcher shop. So I don't care about the flesh and all of that. That's just meat, guts, and noodle brains, and red blood. That's why I don't get caught up in a person's physical. Only thing I care about is the information. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments section. And this is Left Side of the Brain signing out.